Well, this one's a little bit different. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. It's time for that weekly Mod Collection Demo Shop update. And we're going to kick things off with an unsuspecting entry, the Scorch Burst Les Paul. So when I first saw this, I thought, hey, that's kind of a cool Les Paul studio. You've got a nice tobacco-y burst-like color. You've got your witch hat knobs. They threw on a TP6 tailpiece just for good measure, uncovered pickups. And then I was thinking, oh, it's an unbound ebony fretboard. Then I looked closer, and instead of trapezoid inlays, like you'd find on the Guitar Center exclusive dark models, it's actually a custom block inlay. So naturally, I have to look at some other photos, and yeah, sure enough, it's a Les Paul custom. It's not a studio at all. So this one has that widow effect where they spray the finish over top of the binding, but since everything else is also black, it almost disappears. So you still have your multiply binding around the headstock, you've got your grayed out Gibson logos and custom emblem. You do indeed have black binding on the fretboard. And I think they're trying to show you right here that it is a single ply binding on the body, which I think was a terrible idea when you're going to make it black anyways, because this really does look like a custom neck on a studio. And I'm no stranger to liking black bound guitars, but things like the Moonless Night that you can see right here, it at least has a multiply binding so it stands out, even if the predominant layer is ebony. At the same time, you can make the argument, hey, it's a custom that only has single ply binding on the top. That's another unique spec. I wish I could tell you if it had binding on the back, but I can't see. But the neck is also unique. It's got the continuation of that burst color. And it appears to be a three-piece neck that has a very different underlying color. So you get kind of a dark stripe with the lighter stripe. Unfortunately, they don't tell us the neck material in the description. They do tell us it's a chambered body, and it's got a Richlight fingerboard. What I find strange is they call it a 2023. Usually the custom shop doesn't use Richlight in this era. They stopped after 2019 for that and returned to ebony. So needless to say, that's an interesting piece. $4,700, that's not the worst it could have been priced. I was even tempted to pick it up for a review and documentation. But next up, we've got Candy Green 60 Standard, a gorgeous metallic green finish that goes from dark green to light green depending on your lighting situation. They probably should have saved this one back for Christmas time rather than the last update of our Halloween season. They painted the back black. And it doesn't look like they changed too much else, but it's got a decent weight at 9 pounds. $3,000 was a fair price for that. To follow that up, there was a $345 in Indigo Sparkle Satin. That's interesting, you don't see many sparkly satin finishes out there. It's kind of a purplish blue hue with a matching back, but then they left the back of the neck alone. That went for $36.99. However, for $100 cheaper, you could get a $339 in Rose Brilliance. Seems kind of expensive for a $339, but let's see what it's got going on. First off, if you're not familiar with what a $339 is, it's basically a Les Paul sized $335. They've shrunk it down a little bit. You can check out this review and demo of a Joan Jett signature one if you really want to learn all the details. The Rose Brilliance finish kind of has like a rose gold silver effect to it. But yet it almost looks like this thing started life cherry and they just left a little bit of a ridge around it. Got kind of a multicolor thing going on. Feel like if you're gonna do it there, they should have did it around the F-holes too. Appears that they've capped off our stop bar tailpiece, put a Bigsby B5 traditional on it, so that is drilled directly into the top. Witch hat knobs, uncovered pickup seems to be a theme this week. Then the back is really kind of strange. This back finish, it might be kind of like the Berries and Cream Les Paul Special, where it's a pearlescent outer coat that plays peekaboo with you, or it might be that they just didn't spray it as heavily. Kind of see some of that effect on the neck too. Then it gets a little heavier up here where you don't see it through it. It does have locking Grover tuners, and the serial number dates it to 2023. Whoa, I'm surprised it found a home. I thought for sure we'd be shipping that one off to the European demo shop in a couple months. Then they had a standard 50s Heritage Cherry Sunburst. Doesn't even look any different from the front, but they gave it a new finish on the back. It's a satin black and then a satin vintage amber. Not their most exciting work, but the side profile shot's kind of cool. Very Halloween colors. But we haven't seen a tribute in a while. This one's $1,600 for Blue Tone Ivory. The top looks like your general blue color, and the back is completely natural, really showcasing that maple neck. I like the wood grain that it's got. Our next one's a full-on standard with a 50s neck. It was $2,900. I kind of like this finish. They call it Seafoam Mint. It has a slightly deeper shade, a little bit more on the green side. But look at the Gibson Mother of Pearl logo. Did they actually spray that over in blue? I don't think so. That's just some really blue Mother of Pearl. It looks great. And the back is just all natural with some decent wood grain. There was a lone Epiphone Casino. It was for $3,200. I like the rustic vibe of this, although I don't know if I agree with the golden knobs. Kind of reminds me of the smokehouse burst finish that you can find on some Les Paul Studios, and used to be able to find on the Classic. The chrome hardware is reflecting dark, so it almost looks like black chrome in this particular photo, but it's probably the shiny stuff in person. And nice, it's a full refinish on the body at least. They left the neck alone, it appears. The dark finish really accents the flaming. That sold at $32. And speaking of that berries and cream, we had fruit snack this time. It's a little bit more neon in flavor. It's got some red and like bright purples and some magentas mixed in there. But again, our running theme of witch hat knobs, probably for Halloween, and uncovered pickups. Nice dark fretboard on this one with a little bit of red streaking. No matching headstock or anything crazy though. Ooh, black stinger and dark red cherry back. And to round things out, the cobalt blue metallic 335 figured? Nah, it just seems like maybe it started life as a figure top and they just sprayed over it. It's just a nice metallic blue color. And oof, they did it on the back too. I don't know, maybe in person you can look at it in the light, like sometimes you can do with ebony finishes. Or maybe it's just a listing error and it started life as a satin one, you'll never know. But at least it's a full-on gloss refin now. No matching headstock. That one is still available. So that wraps up the USA side of things. Now let's talk about the EU mod collection. They updated their photo. We've got some sort of an orange Firebird with a matching Les Paul custom. I like that, that's nice. I think we saw this one before. It's a P94 Access custom in a reddish color, and then a black custom with kind of a dark blue 335 with matching headstock. But man, oh man, these things are piling up. It makes me wonder, what happens to the unsold EU mod collection guitars? Where are they gonna send it to afterwards? I think eventually it'll be their London shop, but as of right now, they don't seem to have a culling process in order. Maybe they'll have a sale or something. But this week we had Frosty Cucumber. I vaguely remember this one being in the USA collection quite some time ago because you just don't forget the name Frosty Cucumber. It's basically just got a silver border over a green finish, which is kind of an interesting hue, but then you get the matching pickup rings. Same thing on the back of the body with a dark finish neck, this time being offered at $43. Speaking of that custom, I think this is it, except it's called 1960 Les Paul Standard Reissue. Again, I vaguely remember this one being in the USA shop with the same miscommunication of the title. It's definitely just a regular custom in a nice sparkly orange finish. With gold hardware, I'm digging this one. No fancy stingers or anything, but if you need that rockabilly vibe, I think this one does it in spades. Next up, that red Firebird custom. Looks pretty decent. Ooh, nice. Black back, however, it does appear to be satin. That's a really high price on that for a satin finish. The side profile shot of playing that would be pretty sweet. Then there's Ebony Space Sparkle 70s Explorer. Not their best week on their titles. That's actually kind of cool. You really have to get up and in its face to see the sparkles. We'll adjust the contrast here so when you view it, you can see it a bit better. They also have a line around our pick guard. There's actually a finish very similar to this in the early 80s. We talked about them when I documented the Cherry Sparkle Les Paul Standard that you can check out in this episode. It's not the most fancy thing, like it's not the modern Flying V, which looks more so purple even though being called Ebony Prism. But if you like a nice subtle effect, I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy that. Now the big question, is it on the back? It is, and it's a gloss finish. How about matching headstock? Yes, that's a good one. If that was USA side and a fair price, I'd go for it. €27? I'd say that's a fair premium. Very fair, considering those things are $2,500 plus new. There's also a J45 and 50s original cheetah satin. I was hoping there would be like some cheetah print on the back, but no, I think they're referring to their new pickguard that they threw on here. But oh, there's some knobs on it. They threw those on there for the LR bag system, giving you kind of Beatles vibes. Our back is just natural. So that wraps up the mod collection. Now let's talk demo shop. European demo shop took the week off. I did not see anything new get listed. UK demo shop did the exact same thing. Not sure if they have some sort of a holiday going on, but they've got all this stuff if you're interested in it. And even though their big sale is over, I'm sure you could probably still message them. Somebody needs to pick this classic up. I love that top. But on a rather slow week, the USA demo shop steps it up and comes up with some pretty interesting ones. So first off, screaming good deal on this new Les Paul Supreme. If you happen to have missed the reviews and demos of the new modern Supreme, you can check them out in this episode right here. We documented not only this beautiful 2-pickup one, but also the Gibson.com exclusive Ebony. Both are currently available on my website if anybody's interested in a demo model. I can't quite match that crazy $3,200 price tag, but this was just a screaming deal for a model that's only like, what, 3 weeks old? And when you go through it, most of the blemishes really aren't that bad. You would find them on many of brand new ones. It's got a decent top. It's the wine red color. Got a little bit of figuring back here, but I was not surprised when that one sold. Then they also had an okay price on one of the deep purple Gibson.com exclusive classics at $17. Kind of hard to tell in this photo, but it is a very dark purple hue. It is not black, but had some nut issues. Next, a relatively unassuming $2,200 standard 50s. It's got the P90 pickups. I saved this one to share with you because I like the wood grain on the back. Even the neck has a little bit of the dancing figuring. And then we don't see one of these every day. It's the double cut figured maple top specials. Maybe not the strongest top in the world, but they've given you enough of a discount. If you were in the market for one of these, it'd be all right. Check out this USA Greenie. You get like $500 off, and that's just a nice top. It might not look like Greenie, but it's just a great guitar on its own right. The back is very plain. I thought the figuring on this top was kind of interesting. Kind of reminds me of spruce. But I really liked this one. $2,400 hand select top. Reminds me of some 80s flamey / quilty tops. It's not exactly the same, but it definitely gets you very close to like some Spotlight specials. And just to give you a little bit more edge, they threw P94 pickups in there, which is currently not a pickup in production that you can buy separately. And the brown color on the back has a nice reddish tint to it. And in case Les Paul Classic's not your style, they also had one of the 335s. $2,600 on that is not bad if you were in the market, because they're 35 brand new on the site. They don't haggle there, and this is the only place you can get it. And then this SG Modern had a pretty good top as far as these things go. There was a Les Paul Studio with gold hardware. A dealer had these as an exclusive, where they gave the Studio gold parts. And lastly, one of the Orianthi SJ200s. Never did get around to reviewing one of these, but acoustic reviews don't generally do that well on my channel anyway. Cool headstock though. Alright Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.